Avengers Endgame. I don't think we need to give an overview. If you don't know what's going on with that, then you probably aren't going to see the movie. If you do know what's going on, then you already know what this is all about. So, go wait or skip.
Yeah, I think go see this movie. This is a hallmark event in cinema history, I think, in that it's the culmination of just a whole lot of very well done movies and storytelling. And I thought that they did a great job, and this is a satisfying end to the three phases of this series of awesome, great movies in the Marvel Universe.
I also say go see this movie. They did an excellent job. So the Rotten Tomatoes score, do not lead you astray with this one. Here's a caveat: is like, well, if you haven't seen the other like 20, I don't know how many there are Marvel movies.
Yeah.
If I say like Marvel to you, or if I say Marvel Universe, and then like you talk to me about Batman, like I don't know if this is the movie for you.
Yeah.
If I, bring up like Black Widow or Hawkeye and you don't know what I'm saying, I'm not sure that this is a movie for you. So I'm trying to think of like somebody.
If you've not watched the other movies and know what's going on, then definitely don't go see this movie.
Like, do you think
there's a lot that you wouldn't understand?
Not seen any other movies, will you
like
go see Endgame and get it?
No.
Like I think no. I think like you just can't.
You'd be like, what's going on?
But if you have, I don't know. You're not waiting on us to tell you to go see it probably. But if you want to know what we think about it, go see it. Means like it was really good. Yeah. So spoilers.
Spoilers. I cannot believe at the beginning of the movie, Hawkeye just shoots Thanos with an arrow in the movie. The rest of the movie is just like political discourse on what went wrong.
That's not how the movie goes.
Can you imagine though?
So let me get out of the way just to, like, two things. I don't know if I'm disappointed, but it was different than what I expected. And the one thing is Captain Marvel didn't play a huge role in this.
I was disappointed because I felt like I was promised both from the Captain Marvel movie and
Infinity War.
Well, in the trailer itself for the movie, that Captain Marvel would play a prominent role, and while she was in the movie, I didn't get what I thought what was advertised.
Yeah, I thought like she was going to be a leader, like in orchestrating whatever it was, however they were going to solve the problem, like she was going to be like, integral in that.
Yeah.
And she really wasn't.
No.
Like, I mean, she was there at the beginning and then left.
She was important, but not.
And then she came back with, like, super short hair. And, like, I don't have a problem with, like, different, like, hairstyles, but this just wasn't a good hairstyle.
Maybe that's more like the comic book haircut of her. I don't know.
Bowl cut, like, almost? Like, it wasn't a bowl cut, but it was, like, I don't know. It struck me as odd. I was like, wait a minute, you had awesome hair in Captain Marvel. Like, when she would put on her suit and it would, like, her eyes would light up and her hair would be all... And, like, now you just have this hair that doesn't move. And anyway, I thought that was a weird choice and kind of, like... And then, but she was only in the movie. I mean, like, I want to say it was a 3-hour movie. She was in the movie of maybe a total, like, less than 10 minutes. And I'm being generous by estimating 10 minutes, I think.
No. The movie primarily revolved around
Captain America and Iron Man.
And Iron Man.
Were the two, which I was fine with. It was just different than what I expected because of the Infinity War and Captain Marvel movie. Like, I was prepped for something else, and then, yeah.
I'll tell you what I really loved in this movie. I loved how just the depiction of these people, how each of these heroes, Thor, Hawkeye, all of them, Captain America, Iron Man, how they all dealt with tremendous loss in their life, because it happens to people in real life. And I thought that the way that they treated characters was really real true to life, in that like one guy became like a drunk or whatever, and another guy like went crazy. Like that happens in real life.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I thought they really did a good job. It's not something I expected. This movie was not like I expected it to be. Mm-hmm. In a way, I thought it would be just like a longer version of Infinity War.
Right, yeah.
But it wasn't. It was a completely different kind of movie, and I thought they really just knocked it out of the park. And I think they had a lot of, if you grew up reading Marvel Comics, then they had a lot of fan service, some things that happened in this movie that happened in comics that people know about, but that was for the fans, right? With the new Incredible Hulk, what he becomes, with Captain America being able to use Thor's hammer, that's a big deal, and that's in the comic books, and I thought that It was really awesome just to see.
Well, that came together at the end. So to speak more about like them being very human, like first of all, like technically they're not all humans, I guess, because they're from different. Like Thor is like a god man, what have you. But they had human qualities in that, yeah, this was a tragic like event, and I didn't expect them to portray it in the way that they did, because when Thanos talks to Gamora, right, about what he did to her planet, because he killed half the people there, he said that they were living in luxury now, like they had, and she was like, but it was at the cost of killing half the people. Well, that's not what happened on Earth. So what we were shown on Earth is that apparently killing half the people had a tremendous impact on who could maintain things, who, like, I mean, that there weren't the number of people to keep life going as it was. And then on top of that, people fell into a like huge depression.
Yeah.
So like the movie takes place across like the time displacement is across 5 years. Like you come back. And that was shocking to me because I expected them to solve the problem like right away. But they, like everybody spent 5 years. It's like they really lost. Like it had that weight of like, oh, they lost this. Like Thanos won, they lost, and so to show that depression that everybody went through, and I didn't really like consider that, and we live in Houston, so we went through Hurricane Harvey, which was like a huge deal. We weren't directly impacted by like floods, but I can tell you that having lived here, it had a huge impact on me, and I didn't even realize till later the like emotional and mental impact that Hurricane Harvey had. Because I thought I didn't have like a right to, maybe because I wasn't directly impacted, I couldn't have like certain feelings or whatnot. But I did, and I also had a little bit of PTSD about weather. Like anytime it rained, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can drive into Houston. What if I won't be able to get back?
Yeah.
And it would be, I never acted that way about rain before,
right.
You know?
Post-traumatic stress disorder is real.
So like
we saw it in this movie.
Yeah, they showed that in this movie, and I just thought like, wow, like, and so then to have the superheroes really go through like human-like depression and how they responded to things, I thought it was really refreshing to see. Instead of everybody, let me grab my biggest weapon I have and all my super strength, and like it wasn't like that. So it was really, really thoughtful and really good. The other primary thing that I like loved in the movie, and I thought this was like a thread throughout all the movies, was the Captain America and Iron Man and what they had going on between them. Because Iron Man has a huge like character arc from the very beginning. And he's the one that started off this whole thing to the end. And Captain America, to me, is the one that's like kind of like the, he's stable. Like he's always who he is, like all the time, and he weathers like all the storms, right? So to see like that come together, because it was in the Avengers movie, the first Avengers movie with the attack on New York, that where Captain America tells Tony, like, you have to, sometimes you're the person that makes a sacrifice and like you don't come back, you lose. And Tony always had this thing of like, he turned over a new leaf and like cared about people, but he would always figure out how to win. Like he didn't have to sacrifice anything. And then to have that like all come to fruition in this movie was really, really good.
Yeah, really powerful. I thought they walked the line well between having funny things happen, but also being serious and emotional. I thought the effects were as good as far as I could tell. We happened to see the movie in the theater that didn't have great sound.
Yeah.
So that was horribly disappointing, but that will be rectified in our rewatching.
Yeah, we'll go back. I don't like to watch movies in 3D, and so our theater only had IMAX and 3D for this movie. They didn't have any other offerings.
Besides,
one at 2 a.m., and I just have
the one we went and saw was not in 3D.
I meant in IMAX, any IMAX offerings that weren't in 3D.
Oh, okay. So definitely.
And people definitely cried. Like, I cried.
Yeah.
There were 2 different parts where, like, I just, like, full-on cried during this movie. And I'm sure everybody in the theater, like, did as well. It was really touching and emotional. Like, they did an excellent job.
Yeah. I'm kind of crying right now.
Yeah.
It's a powerful, like, it's a really good movie. And I think that for them to pull off the scope of what they pulled off, and also, they had good source material with the Infinity Gauntlet story, but, like, obviously you can't just do the Infinity Gauntlet story on the big screen. They had to come up with a story and involve everybody, and then they had all these moving parts. And I thought for the most part they pulled it off. One thing I would say is that there were just too many people in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, there are all these people, and they all come together, and I think that's probably as best as you can pull it off. I do think that the first Avengers Infinity War movie, the first part of this two-part Thanos story, to me, like, they worked the people in a more coherent way, and everybody got enough screen time. In this movie, I thought that, like, while it featured a lot of different people that came back, that it was just more like cameos because they had so many of them.
Yeah, that didn't bother me, so I don't have like a complaint or anything about that. That like seemed reasonable, like because you would have to do it, and so I think they picked and chose like who was going to be disappear in Infinity War, and then they were left with who was going to be like their primary characters in Endgame.
I was hoping that Silver Surfer would swoop in, like, but it didn't happen. Doesn't happen. But Thanos, like, he was super powerful in this movie, and I really like that. And this was without the gauntlet, so it showed like how powerful he was.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
And I didn't know that
because
I don't have any
fools.
comic books background, so that was interesting to see. You said at the beginning you called this something like a cinematic achievement, and I wanted to speak to that. I think that it is really just amazing. This started over a decade ago with Iron Man, with the goal that they were eventually getting to this. And we have had so many movies. And what I said to Kelsey last night was they could have taken the cheap way and they could have made this like just happy, had all the characters survive, and it was all going to be great, and you know, but they didn't. This is a real end to like this whole 10-year like event.
Yeah.
They really ended it. Now there are going to be other movies, but like it's not going to be the same as what we've been working towards. And it's kind of neat to be there like as a fan.
Yeah.
Like that we've been there since the beginning. I think it was 2008 with Iron Man and went along the way. It almost feels like we had like a part in this. Like I feel like I really truly feel like a part of like this whole endeavor.
Yeah.
So I do think, I don't know if I can't imagine that this has ever been done in like cinematic history with movies like being opened in a theater. Like yeah.
I'll tell you what, at the end of it though, I was like, looks like the bar's been raised, J.J. Abrams. So you better get on it, because this last Star Wars movie should be like this, where you're like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
They put it all together, brought it all together. I don't know why I'm talking like this. That's not me. That's me being someone else. Are you copying me? Stop copying me.
But you guys can all copy each other and like, comment, and subscribe. We don't care if you guys all of you do that.
No, we do care that you all do it.
But I mean, we don't care like in a negative way. Like we're not going to make fun of you or say you're just copying somebody. No, like copy each other and all like, comment, and subscribe, because it helps the channel grow and it makes us feel good.
I'm just going to leave it real short. Like, here's me when you don't like, comment, subscribe. Now, here's me when you do. You see the difference? It's easy. It's an easy choice to make. I thought it was pronounced Ngami.